The Air Medal is a military decoration of the United States military. The medal was created in 1942 and is awarded for meritorious achievement while participating in aerial flight. Criteria: the Air Medal was established by Executive Order 9158, signed by Franklin D. Roosevelt, on the 11th of May 1942. The Air Medal was awarded retroactive to the 8th of September 1939. The medal is awarded to anyone who, while serving in any capacity in or with the armed forces of the United States, distinguishes himself or herself by meritorious achievement while participating in aerial flight. The original award criteria set by an Army policy letter was for 1 award of the Air Medal per each naval vessel or 3 enemy aircraft in flight confirmed destroyed, per 25 operational flights during which exposure to enemy fire is probable and expected, per 100 operational flights during which exposure to enemy fire is not expected. These criteria were later altered by the commanding generals of each numbered Air Force to fit the conditions of the theater of operations and to maintain morale. The Distinguished Flying Cross would usually be awarded for roughly twice to 5 times the requirements of the Air Medal. This led to automatic scorecard awards of the Air Medal and Distinguished Flying Cross for completing a set number of operational missions rather than distinguished service, meritorious action, or bravery as had been intended. On the 5th of August 1943, scorecard awards for completing a set number of operational flights were officially abolished by Headquarters Army Air Forces Awards Board Memorandum. This was due to the embarrassment when airmen who had received the Air Medal for scorecarding 5 missions or more being later removed from flying duties for lack of moral fiber. Commanders could still issue the awards on those grounds, but the recipient must perform exceptionally meritorious service as well. Army Air Forces. During World War II, the medal's award criteria varied widely depending on the theater of operations, the aircraft flown, and the missions accomplished. In Europe, the airspace was considered completely controlled by the enemy and heavy air defenses were encountered, so the criteria was altered from that of the original medal. Bomber, photographic reconnaissance, or observation crew members and air transport pilots received it for 5 sorties. Fighter pilots received it for 10 sorties, and individual pilots or aircrewmen received 1 award per enemy aircraft shot down. Elsewhere in the Pacific and CBI, the pilots and crews flew mostly over uncontrolled or contested airspace for long hours, and lighter air defenses were encountered, so much higher criteria were used. Air Force. The Air Medal may be awarded to recognize either single acts of merit or gallantry in combat or for meritorious service in a combat zone. Award of the Air Medal is primarily intended to recognize those personnel who are on current crew member and non-crew member flying status, which requires them to participate in aerial flight on a regular and frequent basis in the performance of the primary duties. However, it may also be awarded to certain other individuals whose combat duties require regular and frequent flying in other than a passenger status, or individuals who perform a particularly noteworthy act while performing the function of a crew member but who are not on flying status. These individuals must make a discernible contribution to the operational land combat mission or to the mission of the aircraft in flight. Examples of personnel whose combat duties require them to fly include those in the attack elements of units involved in air-land assaults against an armed enemy and those directly involved in airborne command and control of combat operations. Examples would be transport performing supporting dust-off medevac resupply operations, or aircraft involved in reconnaissance over hostile airspace. Awards will not be made to individuals who use air transportation solely for the purpose of moving from point to point in a combat zone. The Army may award the Air Medal for peacetime service, but approval authority is by general grade officers at the group or brigade level or higher. The Air Force does not award the Air Medal for peacetime sustained operational activities and flights. Non-combat meritorious service is instead awarded the Aerial Achievement Medal, instituted in 1988. Ribbon devices. The Air Force uses the aircraft's ORTI designation as a tool, but uses oak leaf clusters rather than strike flight numerals to indicate additional awards. A member's individual flight management records will list the sorties that are eligible for the award. These sorties are designated combat, combat support, or operational. Only the first sortie of the day counts. Armed aircraft crews require 10 sorties for each award, while all others require 20 sorties. The Secretary of the Air Force approved the V device for Air Medals awarded for heroism in combat effective the 21st of October 2004. This applies to all Air Force members, retirees, and veterans. The V device is not authorized for wear on the medal for an earlier date. Variants. U.S. Air Force. The Air Force does not utilize numeral devices on the Air Medal. Subsequent awards are annotated with the traditional oak leaf clusters. Enlisted members are also awarded 3 points toward promotion per award. Each ribbon carries a maximum of 4 OLCs. The ribbon signifies the first award. A bronze OLC equals 1 additional award, and a silver OLC represents 5 additional awards. If there were more than 4 OLC devices awarded, extra Air Medal ribbons were issued to wear the extra OLCs. Multiple Air Medals were usually earned by aircrew with extensive flight time and long meritorious service records. Like during World War II or Korea, the award of the medal is sometimes denoted on a member's gravestone with the abbreviation AM, followed by an ampersand and the number of oak leaf clusters or OLC. For example, AM and AMP. 5 OLC means Air Medal and 5 oak leaf clusters. U.S. Army Air Medal. The U.S. Army used the same criteria as the U.S. Air Force. Oak leaf clusters were awarded on the Air Medal's ribbon for additional awards, bronze OLCs for every additional award and silver OLCs for every 5 additional awards. Extra ribbons were worn to hold extra OLCs if the recipient had earned more than 4 OLCs. 1 award was credited per every 25 hours of combat assault flights, 50 hours of combat support flights, or 100 hours of non-combat service flights. Flight hours were calculated in 6-minute blocks. In 1968, numerals replaced the oak leaf clusters to simplify the display. Air Medal. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. Army awarded the Air Medal to warrant officer commissioned pilots and enlisted aircrew for actual flight time. This became a bureaucratic nightmare to correctly log because of the short flight time of typical helicopter flights. Later, an equivalent flight hours conversion was created and an awards standard was set by individual commands. This eventually was standardized in theater to 1 award per every 24 flight hours logged. A simplified set time was awarded depending on the type of mission, regardless of the actual flight time. Administrative or VIP flights counted for 1/4 hour, regular duties counted for 1/2 hour, and hazardous duties counted for 1 hour. Pilots and aircrew could log over 1,000 flight hours a year and earn a 40 or higher numeral on their Air Medal ribbon. The scorecard system was retained after the war. This was changed on the 11th of December 2006 to an award for every 6 months of meritorious service instead of the number of flight hours. Air Medal. Currently the medal can be awarded for every 6 months of meritorious service. The recipient must perform flight-related duties while serving in a combat zone. The number of flight hours logged are no longer a criterion. The soldier must be assigned as aircrew with flight status. Soldiers without flight status can be eligible if they help with an aerial attack during general transport, serve as a combat controller or the combat commander of an air-land operation at the group brigade level or lower. Soldiers being transported by air as passengers are not eligible for the Meritorious Service Award, but they may be eligible for the Gallantry Award. Ribbon devices. Subsequent awards of the Air Medal are denoted in the U.S. Army by numeral devices displayed on the medal and ribbon. The Army originally used oak leaf clusters to signify additional awards. However, this was changed to numeral devices in September 1968, during the Vietnam War, when the number of air medals awarded became too large to be annotated on a single ribbon. Since the 29th of February 1964, the medal may be awarded with a V device for an act of heroism against an armed enemy less than the criteria for the Distinguished Flying Cross. U.S. Navy, U.S. Marine Corps. The United States Navy and United States Marine Corps have two types of Air Medal awards: individual for singular meritorious acts and strike flight for participation in sustained aerial flight operations. Ribbon devices. As of September 27, 2006, gold numeral devices are used to denote the number of individual air medals. Bronze strike flight numerals denote the total number of strike flight awards. Sorties are missions or sustained operations involving aircraft, like delivering ordnance against the enemy, landing or evacuating personnel in an assault, or in which personnel are engaged in search and rescue operations. Strikes are combat sorties that encounter enemy opposition. Flights are combat sorties that do not encounter enemy opposition. Officers of captain or colonel rank and above are not eligible for award of the Air Medal on a strike flight basis unless the sorties they fly are required in the performance of the regular duties. Since April 5, 1974, the Combat V may be authorized for awards for heroism or meritorious action in conflict with an armed enemy. Ribbon devices. In the interval between November 22, 1989 and September 27, 2006, 3/16" bronze stars, 5/16" gold stars, and 5/16" silver stars denoted the number of individual air medals. A bronze star was used to denote a first award. Gold stars were used for the second through the fifth awards, 7th through 10th awards, and so on. Silver stars were used in lieu of 5 gold stars, and denote the 6th and 11th awards. For individual air medals, the Combat V may be authorized. Bronze strike flight numerals denoted the number of strike flight awards. They are authorized for operations in hostile or disputed territory and count the total number of strikes and flights added together. U.S. Coast Guard. The United States Coast Guard also awards the individual air medal but not the strike flight award. Gold and silver 5/16" stars are authorized for wear to denote additional Air Medal awards. The gold star denotes the 2nd through 5th award of the Air Medal. The Coast Guard is not authorized any other military device for the Air Medal. Civil Air Patrol. During World War II, the Air Medal was also awarded to members of the Civil Air Patrol who participated in the CAP's anti-submarine patrol program. This was not made public, since the federal government did not want to admit it was arming civilian aircraft. Design. The medal's design is prescribed by law. Description: a bronze compass rose 1 11/16 inches circumscribing diameter and charged with an eagle volant carrying 2 lightning flashes in its talons. A fleur-de-lis at the top point holds the suspension ring. The points of the compass rose on the reverse are modeled with the central portion plain for engraving the name of the recipient. Ribbon: the ribbon is 1 3/8 inches wide and consists of the following stripes: 1/8 inch ultramarine blue 67,118, 1/4 inch golden orange 67,109, center 5/8 inch ultramarine blue, 1/4 inch golden orange, and 1/8 inch ultramarine blue. Components: the following are authorized components of the Air Medal and the applicable specifications for each. A. Decoration. mil.D-3943/23. NSN for decoration set is 8455-00269-5747. For replacement medal NSN 8455-00246-3837. B. Decoration. mil.D-3943/23. NSN 8455-00996-5002. C. Ribbon. mil.11,589/7. NSN 8455-00252-9963. D. Lapel button. mil.11,484/17. NSN 8455-00257-4308. Designer. Walker Hancock. Hancock had competed for the medal design as a civilian, but prior to the award of the competition had been inducted into the Army. Notable recipients: